The robin is actually just one of about 200 small chat-like members of the thrush family, but of course the robin's much more than that because it's got this extraordinary cultural importance that goes far beyond its biological significance.
It was in the late 19th century that the robin began its strong association with Christmas. It began to feature in Christmas cards in the last 2 or 3 decades of the 19th century. The RSPB produced some of the first Christmas cards with robins on in these 2 decades at the end of the 19th century. But what's the association with Christmas?
Well, partly, of course, it is because robins tend to be tamer in winter. They are a bird of our gardens, so they come in close to our steps. And they tend to take food from us, or if we put food out, they'll take it, particularly in snowy weather. But it actually is an historical accident, because the early postmen wore red tunics, and they were nicknamed robins. And people started doing Christmas cards with, in fact, someone told me it was Valentine cards originally, but I think it was Christmas cards with the postman on, and then they morphed into a robin, and that's how the robin was associated with Christmas cards. I don't think it would have happened if the robin had been a bird of the broad countryside or remote places. I think it was mainly because they lived with us.
It's part cultural, it's part historical, and it's part biological behaviour. The fact that robins are more visible in the winter and are coming into our gardens because they depend on us much more in the winter when the ground is frozen and we're putting out mealworms and food for them. The interesting thing is that the robin is associating us with being a mammal on the move. Robins on the continent follow wild boar through woodland, and ancestral robins would have done that when wild boar were present in Britain. And they're simply following us as we go around the garden tilling the soil and digging up worms and grubs, and the robins are following us and associating our movements with those of mammals from a sort of prehistoric past almost.
It's sort of cupboard love really, isn't it? Because they're not really liking us. We think of the robin as a friendly bird, and of course it's not at all. It's a bird that's incredibly violent. It's a bird that attacks and kills its rival males, particularly, attack and kill each other, and yet it still has this image. Even if you tell people that, they still think, yes, but robins are lovely, delightful little birds. And it was actually one man, wasn't it, Rob, David Lack, who actually found this out and exposed the robin to the world.
He concluded that the robins that we have in our gardens are not the same robin, that it changes all the time. And in fact, the robin that you may cherish and adore as sitting on your fork handle as you're tilling the veg patch may actually be a Polish robin or a German robin that's fled cold weather on the continent and has come in and displaced the robin that was there formerly. And not only does it change on a year-to-year basis, but it actually changes on a monthly basis, which is quite a revelation to us when we think of this bird as a sort of close friend who's in our garden all the time.
We also think of the robin's red breast as being this wonderful, beautiful thing. But of course the red breast is there again for violence, for conflict, because what David Lack showed is he got a stuffed robin and he put it in a male robin's territory, and the male robin attacked violently the stuffed robin, pecked it, wouldn't let it, you know, even the robin obviously wasn't reacting to him. And later Lack actually ended up just putting a small red patch, not even a bird, just a small red bit of wood, say, in the territory, and the robins reacted to that just as well. The other thing that I suppose fascinates me about robins, because I'm fascinated by bird names, is that if you look in the official checklist of British bird names, even as late as 1952, the name of Erythracus rubecula is redbreast. Robin is a nickname, like Jenny Wren or Tom Tit. And yet, Willie Wagtail, all these names, we gave these birds names, the birds that were most familiar to us, most endearing to us, and yet robin stuck. And so the name robin redbreast is an accident. It should be redbreast. And what's totally bizarre, of course, is the breast isn't red at all. It's orange.